Throughout the first half of his career, Jeremy Affeldt's success was very back and forth. One year, he'd post right around the 3 RA, and the following, he would be right around the 5 or 6. However, when he joined the Giants in 2009, something just clicked. He immediately became a huge part of that Giants' successful bullpen in 2010, 2012, and 2014, in all of which they won the World Series. And although every single time he took the mound in the postseason, it seemed like he was at his very best, something about the Game 7 of the 2014 World Series made his appearance even more impressive. And no, I'm not talking about his postseason streak where he went 22 consecutive innings without giving up a run. Just a couple of days ago, while getting interviewed by the San Francisco Chronicle, Jeremy Affeldt shared that during that game, he had a lot of problems with his vision. He could barely see anything. And before I get into more details, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell. Also, drop a like if you guys are enjoying what you're seeing. And let me know in the comments down below what your favorite Jeremy Affeldt moment is. But without further ado, let's get back to the video. Throughout his interview, Jeremy Affeldt said, quote, "I couldn't see. I bet you didn't know. I had an eye problem. I've been trying to figure it out. For whatever reason, one eye was picking up stuff that was close and the other eye was picking up far. And I wasn't getting to where everything was coming together. It was like seeing in 3D, or other things were jumping at me. I felt like I was looking through a glass of water. Colors were different from eye to eye." Wow, okay, that's intense. And taking into consideration all the pressure of going into Game 7, he still went out there and went 2 1/3 innings without giving up a single run. And when we look back, the Giants only used 3 pitchers in that Game 7. Starting pitcher, Tim Hudson, relief pitcher, Jeremy Affeldt, and then Bumgarner came in out of the bullpen. But he's technically a starting pitcher as well, which means out of all the options, Jeremy Affeldt was the only real reliever that went out there. Now this raises a couple of questions. Number one, why was Jeremy Affeldt having these problems? And number two, why did Bruce Bochy pick him even though he was going through this situation? Well, apparently, Affeldt had been taking this medication, and a couple of hours before the game started, he started having these issues. And he went up to Buster Posey and specifically told him not to tell manager Bruce Bochy and pitching coach Dave Righetti about his issues. So before you guys go off on Bruce Bochy for putting Affeldt in this situation, he was completely clueless. As a matter of fact, he did not know until the plane ride when they were going out of Kansas City later that night. He said, quote, "We win, and Bochy comes back to me on the plane and says, 'You couldn't see? Maybe you should pitch all the time when you're blind. You threw more strikes than you usually do.'" And Bochy's right. Jeremy Affeldt did look very sharp out there. And all these years, it's been about 5 years now, nobody's been able to tell that there was something wrong with him that game. And this comes to show 2 things. Number one, this is a huge risk that he took, knowing that it could cost the team a world championship. But number 2, it shows how much of a competitor he was and how badly he wanted to help his team. Now, unfortunately, after that, Affeldt would go on to pitch 1 more year with the Giants, and it really wasn't that successful, and he ends up retiring for a few different reasons. However, he said the main one was to take care of his family and be with his kids, which is completely respectable. He did retire at the age of 34, which is a bit young, but you also got to understand the situation. And all in all, Jeremy Affeldt had a great career, especially for the Giants, and he'll definitely be remembered as one of the best relief pitchers in postseason history, because at the end, he ended up having a career 0.86 ERA when it counted the most. Well, that's gonna do it for today, guys. Like I mentioned earlier, if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. Also, drop a like. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about Jeremy Affeldt, and I will see you all next time.
I got black, I got white, what you want? Hop outside a ghost and hop up in a fan on. I know I'm about to blow, oh, oh.